increase in efficiency that these people have been managing in the space heating. And we'll just see one example of how they did. So when you have a large factory and many consumers, one of the things they did is they see, okay, where's all that energy going? Because in order to manage it, you need to know where is it going. You need, and then they installed sub-metering, and they have about 480 automatic sub-meters and another 200 semi-automatic and so on. And they, of course, make their departments accountable for the energy cost. And of course, the head of a department has his annual bonus, also among other factors being influenced by what he is doing to the energy cost. And that is giving a certain awareness here. And I think this sub-metering is one of the areas where a lot needs to be done, because I think in many companies you just don't know enough where your energy is going, and that is a starting point, of course. So then, as they do that, then they can have load management, and then they can really follow all the requirements. I think load management is more important even in India than in Germany, but of course everybody is trying to avoid the charges, and people are investing in SCADA systems to throw off loads, and even increasingly there is a power market getting involved in that, incentives to switch off and so on. If you see the map of the premises here, you will see the different projects which are for heat recovery, because when there are certain industrial processes, they may generate heat, and then there's a wall, and the next room you have a heating system working. So what they do is they went systematically through the entire plant and were recovering that heat and then putting it into the system somewhere else. And this is like the energy management effort in terms of monitoring the projects. The green ones is the places where it's already implemented. The red ones, it is for technical or economic reasons not feasible. And then the blue ones are the map to go ahead. So energy management is not only about monitoring electricity or power factor, it is also something which is project management, in the sense to not put the audit in the shelf, but really systematically go about implementing it. On the heating systems, you see that that is nearly, I went there looking like a kitchen. They are investing all the time, and of course they have tri-generation, providing some cooling demand that they have in some places by having cogeneration equipment and then absorptive cooling generation. But let me first, before I quit that, tell you this company does a lot, certainly, and they do it continuously. Now, the interesting thing is that their energy bill may be considerable, but in terms of the cost, imagine that energy cost is only 1% of the total cost of that company. It's only 1%. It's not 8, it's not 10, it's 1%, and still they are really struggling for every kilowatt hour to be saved continuously. And they're doing this since 20 years, and they're not giving up. They even go and participate in certain circles, even though they are maybe also among the best in the region. They go into meetings to share experience and to learn from others to still get better, because they feel that is just or still potential out there. So, and that is not a rocket science in terms of technology which you may or may not have available. It is about management, about attitude from the top. And we Germans, we like all these norms, these DIN norms and so on. So German companies are very much introducing now the ISO 50001, and they're not only doing it to put it in the directors' offices and have the certificate, they're really living through this. And that is a constant effort in the company. I think you're familiar with that. So, and so we as a consulting company, we are working with those companies in Europe, in Germany, and also here. And I think our experience shows that you have to start from the top. If top management is not committed, and if energy is just left to some power engineer, it's not working. So it must englobe the entire organization. Awareness is not only an issue for the general consumers, but it's also about people that are working on machines, and they need to be aware in the factory, and the cost accounting and all of that. So I think a lot of you are already at the stage of some audit has been done, but I think when it comes to energy management, for example, it's clear that any sizable company must have a software system, and it must have the monitoring of the data and the energy management. And then once you go there, then you can also go with the awards and certification. You can have certified projects internally and select the best energy saving idea. You can participate in external awards, and you can really make it part of the company. And I think ITC on a general level is an example where also you see the benefits of that internal effort to be translated into an image building in terms of CSR and public relation and so on. So we are working here, for example, with Coal India, that have started also to get, even with all the pressure on production, started to get into energy efficiency, and technology is an issue. Old fans being there, having 34% efficiency, new fans that we are proposing having 90%. Always planning ventilation for the next 20 years and then running it already full capacity is a loss of waste. Nowadays there are variable speed drives. You just follow with the ventilation as the production develops and so on. These are all things that do pay back in few years, and actually we calculated it with the high exchange rate now, and still the payback is very good right now. And then I think the next step is that we are installing an energy management system so that management can take care of it even more easily. I think then the other point is that there is this integration of solar and energy efficiency, and I think in Europe cities are having a pivotal role, because cities are leaders with their buildings, so they should show they have roofs, even they should rent it out to investors to put in PV. So there are many things they are responsible, or they should be responsible for street lighting, at least they pay the bill. So there are many things, and MNRE has developed a scheme here for municipalities to optimize and take also a management approach. So those are these areas. And I think I could go on forever, but let us just keep it there. It's about management, it's about people. Technologies are available, they pay as the economic situation develops, because your energy prices will go up, and we are happy then for discussion or for further cooperation, bringing in our experience, and of course also manufacturers for cooperation if it is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. You're doctor or Mr. Doctor?
You can call me.
Okay, Mr. From. And it was an excellent presentation. We could have a sort of snapshot of experiences in Germany, which is now being brought down here. I'm happy that we are working with Coal India. In fact, the Coal India new building that is coming up in Rajarhat is supposed to be one of the energy efficient buildings with solar panels and all that. So it should be an iconic building, which is green and good, nice building. I think we turn to our next speaker. I have been told that the session needs to close by 1:30. So we have 3 more speakers. Let me turn to Mr. Alok Goel. He is the country manager, India and South Asia region, Ballard Power Systems, Canada. And he will talk on techno-economic feasibility of hydrogen fuel cells.
Okay, I think I got 20 minutes. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll try 10. So just wanted to say thanks, first of all, Mr. Bhattacharya, and to the whole team of Bengal Chamber of Commerce for giving me this particular opportunity. Dear friends, good afternoon. I just wanted to ensure this next 15 minutes is going to be worth your time. What I basically going to do in this next 15 minutes, going to talk to you about, I think, a less known topic to few of you. Might be half of the audience knows about fuel cell, but if they don't, the whole idea of this presentation is to talk to all of you guys and mention in detail, go through some case studies that what is fuel cell, what are the target application of fuel cell where it is going to be very important for the country. And being a Canadian company, but me being Indian, what we are doing here actually in India, where it make more sense. So the presentation will be around that, and then obviously we'll take question after the presentation. So just in a simple language, if anybody asks you what is a fuel cell, it basically takes a chemical energy from hydrogen and convert that into electrical energy. That's it. So what is a fuel cell? That's what it is, a fuel cell. I'm not going to go behind much in detail. You can all can read, but chemical energy getting converted into electrical energy, and the efficiency is what everybody was talking about. We can have fuel cell as efficient as up to 80% if you utilize the heat and other way using that, so which I will again discuss in detail. And what you really get as a byproduct is a vaporized water, so it's 100% clean. So just a bit about what is Ballard Power System. We are a Canadian company based out of Vancouver in British Columbia, the largest PAM-based fuel cell company in the world with 80% of the market share. You see on the bottom our facilities across US, Canada, and in Europe. And as far as application is concerned, as a Ballard Power System being the leader in fuel cell, there are 4 areas we are focusing. And that is what the immediate fuel cell future we see around and also in India. The very first market what you see is backup power, which is providing backup power for telecommunication, home generators, UPS, all those kind of markets. Basically more around backup power for telecommunication and non-telecommunication customer. A huge market, and we're going to go discuss more in detail about that. The second applications what we see is the buses and automobiles. As we all know how much diesel they are all burning, and that's the second market where we focus. The third market is material handling, which is there are a lot of forklift trucks which are running now in the countries for material handling, and that's the third one. And again, I'll talk a brief about that, which is the secondary target we have at this point. And then the last, which is everybody was talking, was a multi-megawatt kind of a fuel cell for distributed power generation. So those are the 4 key areas where the fuel cell is really creating value around the world, including India, where we have primary target, which is next couple of years from now, making great sense, and then something which is next 4 to 5 years. So one thing, we all know fuel cell now. I think we'll go and discuss. Everybody knows fuel cell is a great technology. One of the questions people ask is about the fuel, because that's the most important thing, more than the fuel cell, is the hydrogen. So from where you going to get the hydrogen? If you can answer me that, I think job become very easy. So 4 areas, I think the 4 sources of hydrogen one can look at. One, you get a direct hydrogen, chloralkali plants or wherever you have that hydrogen, you get that hydrogen and you basically do that. Second is, if it can be a steam reformation of some sort of a fuel like methanol, which I'm going to go more in detail actually. Why? Because it's more in liquid form, make more sense, or other kind of a fuel through which you can generate hydrogen, which is easy way of generating it. The third is the gasification of biomass, and the last is through some sort of a renewable way of electrolysis kind of a thing. So those are the 4 ways you can generate hydrogen. But let's understand in India where we are. If you see in the chart, where you see all this mark, that's where we have hydrogen available in the country today. So if I'm going to talk about any project, whether it's a multi-megawatt or a kilowatt scale, these are the areas where hydrogen is available. So one thing for sure, focus only in this area and add into the power generation, either at kilowatt scale or multi-megawatt scale. But what is, one of the things I want to tell you is a case study for Nagda in Madhya Pradesh. We have deployed hydrogen fuel cell for Idea Cellular, which is the largest telecom tower company, rather the third largest telecom company here in India. And we have deployed this fuel cell there. So what is basically happening? Aditya Birla Group, one side have chemical plants like Grasim, which is generating products which is of daily use to them, but then they got a byproduct hydrogen which is available. Other side, they got a company like Idea Cellular, which is burning diesel, which is not used for farmer subsidy. I mean, the subsidy they are taking from the government and actually powering their telecom tower. And just to get further in that, today in the country we got 5 lakhs telecom towers. We are burning 5 billion liters of diesel of the country, which is going for a subsidy to telecom towers, which is consuming, or rather which is doing a carbon emissions of almost 10 million liters every year. So and obviously out of various telecom operators in India, one is Idea Cellular. So it was very easy that, okay, coal is a problem, oil is a problem, but are we really focusing on alternate fuel? Are we focusing on some sort of a technologies which actually can make us more focusing on something which is more an alternate fuel, and so our dependency on diesel can reduce, and on top of that, if it is efficient, if it is green, nothing better than that. So that's a perfect example. What we did, took on hydrogen right from there. Instead of diesel, all sites are now running on this 24/7 wherever it required backup power. While the backup power required is about 12 hours in a day, but there's no diesel generator. It is all running on fuel cell, those sites in Nagda in Madhya Pradesh. So out of various dot, one application I'm just telling you, which is changing things around the country. Second thing, which is very important, is a liquid methanol fuel cell. Because one of the things comes, if I'm going to transport a fuel which is difficult at a large distance, doesn't make sense. Let's not do that. Dot, which I've shown you, that's where the fuel is available. The places where fuel is not available, let's try to use a fuel which is green fuel, which is alternate fuel, can use for this efficient technology is fuel cell, but something which is more in a liquid form like a diesel. So every residence where you need a backup power, every telecom towers where you need a backup power from a diesel generator, they can go away. And I think one of this thing is a liquid methanol fuel cell. So what is this fuel cell we're doing basically? I think in a nutshell, this is 60% of the footprint of a normal diesel generator. If I compare this machine, which is a 5 kilowatt, with a 15 kVA or let's say 10 kVA diesel generator. And the weight of the machine is less than 300 kg, where it is 900 kg kilogram, I mean, for a diesel generator. Obviously, I think those I'll get more in detail in the machine. So this is how the machine look like. So if you open the machine, at the bottom, it is like a diesel generator. You got a green fuel, which you fill the liquid methanol. It's a 220-liter tank, which is actually give you 220 units of power. Now this fuel on the right is a reformation which takes this liquid methanol fuel and convert that into hydrogen on real time, which is feed it onto the stack. What you see on your left are the two stacks on the top and bottom. Each one is a 2.5 kilowatt. So a liquid methanol fuel cell, a liquid methanol fuel is basically getting converted into hydrogen on real time, feed it into the fuel cell. So one of the question comes, why liquid methanol fuel cell? Why we see it's such a great value? Because as I keep saying, fuel matter more than the fuel cell. So Before I getting into that, this one chart which is very important to understand. We are all talking about different solution. One solution works good at one place and it doesn't work at another place. This is the solar map of India. Now if you see the solar map of India, the areas where you see the lighter area, there is no sun available there, or means the radiation is very low. If anybody is trying to do a kilowatt scale kind of those, even multi-megawatt, but let's say kilowatt more, it doesn't make sense, let's say, in telecom tower. Because this radiation is not there. What are you going to do with the solar? I question that. In Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, northeast states, there's no, yeah, Bihar, means you want to do it in Gujarat, you want to do it in Rajasthan and all that. So for a telecom towers, what we realize is, as based on this map, I think the areas which is a low radiation and where the diesel generators are running, and if you provide something, the backup should be complete replacement of a diesel generator. It should not be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, weather and all that. So we realize this area, the best solution works is a fuel cell. So obviously it's green. What is important, I think I will just come straight to the slide, is the fuel, which is very important. Now liquid methanol, which I am talking about, is a 62% methanol, 38% water. It's methyl alcohol, CH3OH. What are the properties? It is the fuel with the largest content of hydrogen available. It is easy to reform at 200 degrees Celsius, so the machines start within a minute when the backup power is required. Last year, it was 90 billion liters of the production. There are companies in here, like Assam Petrochemical down in Northeast. I saw the Gujarat Namrda Valley Fertilizer. There are companies who are already producing methanol. There are a lot of methanols coming from outside. And the other good property is it does not biodegrade. You store it for years, it does not biodegrade. You put it for defense down in the areas which is even minus 20 degrees Celsius, it doesn't freeze like diesel. So there are a lot of good properties, and obviously it is green fuel, so which is very important. It is in the daily life, this fuel, so it's one of the cheapest chemical available, and it is in the daily life. Like this is an example of a car, this is an example of residence where all the places it is available. But anyway, it is going to be available for you to read it later. So another good thing which is important about this fuel, the price is flat. There is no subsidy, first thing. Second, the price is very flat. So telecom towers, which is know that the diesel price keep on increasing every day, and it is becoming very tough for them to support diesel anymore. When the telecom growth happened, they put a diesel generator, but going forward, that's become very tough. So they are looking for alternate fuel, green fuel, this kind of a solution. This is one site, for example. This is a telecom site where we have put it a external tank along with a 220-liter tank. This will actually run the site for 45 days without refueling. So that's what it is. The storage of methanol, that's something I'm showing you some sites. This is how the storage of methanol, liquid methanol is happening here. Transportation is very easy. It is basically in a liquid form. So taking from one telecom tower to another telecom tower is very easy, which is not the case in the case of a hydrogen. And what is very important is the ROI of this system is actually 3 years. Because if you talk about the running cost of this system is half of the running cost of a diesel generator today for telecom backup power. So the ROI, what telecom towers are actually getting from this system, that is basically around 3 years. Again, very easy to transport. You can see Hydro Plus supply, very easy to transport, like this kind of vehicle. This is a 5,000 liter Hydro Plus, which is fuel there, very easy. Other than that, I just wanted to show you, we have a larger system also. This is a 150 kilowatt system, which is again a fuel cell we have deployed. Just, yeah. This is another 1 megawatt. And this is the Tata Motor buses which we did in the country. These are 12 buses in the country. We have first bus which is running on hydrogen fuel cell. It is going in ISRO right now in Bangalore. These buses are actually on the fuel cell. This is how the buses look like. Instead of CNG cylinder, it's a hydrogen cylinder. this is a small toy train. You can see this is how it has been deployed, and we are working even in the trains in the country here itself. So, just in a summary, I'm done with my presentation. But in a summary, hydrogen fuel cell and liquid methanol fuel cells, what we're deploying, are commercially available. The ROI of this system for telecom backup power today is 3 to 4 years. It's again customer to customer, but 3 to 4 years. We have deployment already done, as I told you, IDS Cellular. So that was primary target. Then we are also working in a home generator program. There are demonstration programs started in the country. So as we move forward, you will see the pricing coming down. Hydrogen infrastructure, liquid methanol infrastructure keep on building more. So it's becoming more and more viable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. It was an interesting presentation on a subject which may not be known to many. Incidentally, the company where I work for this at present, Deepak Fertilizer, is also a producer of methanol. Yes. And we are happy to know that methanol can have this kind of a future. I turn to my next speaker, Mr. A.K. Debnath. He will be talking about sustainable mining in India. Mr. Debnath is the Chairman cum Managing Director of Central Mine Planning and Design Institute Limited, which is a subsidiary of Coal India Limited.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I start, I will talk about the sustainable development. Before I start, I would like to share a few things which all of you know, but I think it is required. Whatever the energy we get for our health, that is sun energy basically, and that has been prepared by the plant. They convert inorganic material to organic material. Sun energy, water and air. And that we get everywhere. And in the food chain, whatever you get, there is no place for the human beings. So the ever-increasing population in our country and in some parts of the world, this is one of the major threats of the environmental pollutions. And the last thing, that unlike all liquid, that water has got maximum velocity at 4 degrees centigrade, whatever maybe the reason scientific says. And this is one of the reasons which helps to survive the marine life. Otherwise, there would have been formations of the ice from the base of the sea level, and the entire marine life would have been destroyed. So with that, what I stress that there is a need to protect the environment. Now, since this time is short, briefly I can tell you, as on today, that whatever the power is generated, this 72% is coal-based, and where the Coal India is playing a vital role. And in future, if the land is made available to us, and the problem of arena is solved, coupled with the evacuation systems, rail evacuation system is solved, the Coal India can add at least 200 to 250 million tons of coal right now from Talcher coalfield, Ibali coalfield, North Conclave coalfield and Mannagar coalfield. So this is the scenario. Now when you talk about this environmental sustainability, that major due to mining activities,